Alright, good morning guys. So, today's Thursday. So 2 days ago I passed AWS DevOps Pro certification, which is awesome. It was just so difficult. So it was so difficult that it made me feel like I wasn't prepared or I didn't cover the entire topics. I decided to take some other Udemy courses, for example yesterday, to kind of supplement some of the topics that I felt I did not fully understand. So I was working going through courses for like code pipeline, elastic beanstalk, and today I'm gonna go through a code deploy, mainly CI/CD pipeline and whatnot, but all good. Basically, I'm certified AWS DevOps Pro engineer, and what next from now is basically I'm gonna work on GCP, Google Cloud Computing Platform, GCP. It's another public cloud provider. Because a month and a half from now, I'm gonna be working on GCP. And how this is gonna happen is basically I talked to a project manager and asked him pretty much taking initiative, asking him, hey, what is the chance? What is the chance for me to work on GCP? I don't have any certification, I don't have experience, but if I can, then I'm gonna be spending time to prep for GCP, like ramping up, upscaling. And he said, thank you for your offer, I'll take your offer with pleasure. So that's how I took initiative to work on something that I have never done, but sometimes it only takes initiative. Tell the right people that you are interested in certain technologies so that you can expand. And if you're working on that kind of something new technology first time, then you're gonna need a little more time in the support and assistance. So he told me that we're gonna do 50-50 with another engineer so that I can get some little more assistance and I'm not gonna be overloaded. So that's how I talk to right people, and I'm gonna be studying for GCP Cloud Architect certification in the next 4-5 weeks, and after that I'm gonna be probably studying for Kubernetes and GCP. At least in like 2-3 months I'm gonna be finishing that, and maybe after I'm gonna go for Azure, another public cloud provider by Microsoft. Microsoft provides Azure, Google provides GCP, and Amazon provides AWS. So that's pretty much it. In terms of workout and whatnot, today is my low carb day. Yesterday was as well, so I did get less than 50 grams of carbohydrates yesterday. Today as well, I'm gonna be eating less, and I'm planning to work on legs today and a full body, so squat, deadlift, and shoulder military press, and traps being shoulder. Yesterday I went to gym twice. Yesterday was my back and triceps day, so I worked on triceps twice a day, which means I increased total volume by 1.5 times. It's probably I did 25 sets in total. So this is really to accelerate my growth. I want to really get bigger or leaner faster, and that's the only reason why I'm working out twice a day. And it's been alright. Just because I go to gym twice a day doesn't mean I double the entire volume. I probably add 50 or 60-70% more volume by working out twice a day. And in terms of recovery time, I'm taking more proteins and then sleeping 9 hours a day. So in terms of recovery speed, it doesn't really affect me. Maybe half a day more I need recovery time. But in the end, I can only work on certain parts of muscles twice a week maximum. If I do Monday on chest, then I'll do maybe chest on the Thursday or Friday. So I need a recovery 2-3 days in between. So it doesn't really affect me, even if I'm increasing volume. So that's right now it's 7 a.m. I woke up like 6:30. I went to bed 10 p.m. yesterday. So 7, I'm going to gym, work on squat, deadlift, shoulder, traps. Traps is my weak spot, so like I'm really working on that. And traps and neck as well. Neck I have been working on once every 2 days or 3 days, and I see progress so far. So yeah, neck and shoulder is gonna make a huge impact in like from outside, because this is how much space you take in. From the first impression people look at you, it's not the chest or abs or biceps, it's the right proportion, especially reverse triangle. They're gonna look at neck and traps subconsciously. So that's what I've been working on. Physique wise, it's all good. Career wise, it's all good too. So yeah, I'm gonna go to gym, take protein shake, and come back, and then resume this daily vlog. Alright, see you guys. Hey guys, so I just came back from home. Came back from office and gym, so I'm at home right now. So I worked out traps and shoulder press, and then trapezius for shoulder. But basically today I was working. I wasn't really focused today because I was messaging somebody this afternoon. But basically I was talking about how I wanted to talk to you guys. Like, what do you think is the benefit of traveling? Going outside with your own culture and the countries to discover something new perspective, new value systems, new cultures, new routines, new habits, new customs. What do you think about it? And this is something that I was talking about. If you are stuck in one culture, one country, one language, one way of looking at things from one country, then you're not gonna be able to find anomalies in how people do things, because oftentimes culture is really singular. Yes, of course, there are like 1,000 million people living inside a culture, but ways to think about certain things, the way they do certain things are quite homogeneous. Let's talk about religion and culture and how they go about stuff, right? So if you just live in Japan for your entire life, then you won't be able to really understand about how Japanese are a little bit exceptions to the world in terms of how polite and formal they interact with people. Same as Koreans, same as Chinese, same as a lot of conservative countries, Asia, same as Germany, Switzerland as well. But if you are just stuck in one culture in a country, then you're not gonna be able to tell that thing, the way of doing it, the way of interacting people is actually anomaly to the world. Another thing, for example, that I can think about, when I think about Japan, it is quite formal, quite conservative, quite rigid, a lot of rules, regulations, top-down approach, and the people are so formal, and it's so hard to break ice even if you're Japanese. And this doesn't apply just to Japanese people. It also applies to some countries, like countries where they don't have small talk or casual chatting, chit-chat, conversation thing. So opposite of that is, let's say, North America, where in the West Coast they strike up conversation and it flows naturally. If you are not too shy or too introvert, then that happens, right? Whereas in Japan, like, that's completely outside a reality for most people. Just that's one of the example. Another thing is the way they look at, let's say, work-life balance. So again, Japan, I'll use that as an example, but in Japan, work is like life. Once you're born in this world in Japan, then parents and the school is gonna try to teach you that studying hard is gonna make you a good career, and after you graduate from university, then you're gonna work with big companies and you're gonna work for the rest of your life, kind of like a company slave, and that is your life, and a good job equates to a good life. This is not just true to Japan, but also in Western society as well, but especially in Japan, focus and emphasis on work in the whole spectrum of life is too much, and that's why people work there like long hours, and yeah, they don't have longer vacations like here in Europe. Their pay is pretty low, and just they're not balanced with personal free time, and that's one of the reasons why younger people in Japan these days have a hard time dating, and the birth rate is going down. It's because guys are working too long, too hard, and obviously if they're so stressed out about financial situation or also work, then they're gonna have less time to think about their life and a personal thing, and they don't have enough energy to spend with their family or girlfriend, boyfriends, obviously. And that's one of the reasons why it's so difficult to date, because people are just too busy, and they're too tired after, they're too exhausted after work. So that's one thing. It is definitely an anomaly if you look at many other countries. But traveling is gonna let you explore different ways of doing things and culture, work-life balance, how they look at food. For example, food is amazing in Japan. I realized it only after I have traveled to many countries. So traveling is gonna make your perspective much wider, because we're going to see different things that you haven't seen. But it is also a reality that you're gonna discover that your culture and your country that you're born with, that you default to without questioning, because you grew up in 20 years, and other people surrounding yourself are also born in that country, and most of people in a country, let's say Japan, don't have enough experience like outside of Japan in terms of cultural diversity and perspective. Then it is so easy to get caught up with like just one way, singular way of thinking and doing and living life. So I think this is one of the best things about traveling. You're gonna be expanded in terms of horizons, in terms of perspective, in terms of the way you look at your life and how you're gonna live your life, So this, in conclusion, I think I think it's gonna be hard for me to make friends or even date or have a deeper connection with just people if they haven't traveled outside their own country and cultures, because oftentimes there are a lot of many other ways to do things. Religion, no single religion is good enough. No single religion is the best. Oftentimes it's a hybrid of concepts and the belief system and the value system that are actually realistic and can be applied in real world. But if you're just subscribing to one singular culture and a country and a language and a religion and the way you dress and the way you eat, the way you study and work and everything, then your life is gonna be pretty much miserable. Because you know what? There's so many other ways to do things, and you might not be the best person to enjoy that singular culture, singular way of doing things. You might be the one who enjoyed that thing the most, but chances are, statistical point of view, you're like one in millions and millions of people, and there are millions of ways to do it. And after traveling like 15 countries last year, and maybe more than 20 cities just last year alone, and having lived in like North America, Japan, Europe, Southeast Asia, I can say that Japan is the best in terms of food. In terms of work-life balance, Japan is one of the worst. In terms of pay, Japan is really okay, decent. In terms of the way people interact with people and the strangers and friends and like a dating and relationship, Japan is definitely hard and conservative, same as Germany as well. In terms of how they look at their life and personal happiness, Japan is pretty behind because they put too much emphasis on work. This is not putting blame on individuals in Japan, because this is more in a bigger, it's much bigger issue than just individual level. It's more like a social hierarchy in government and laws and regulations. But this is what I think about after traveling a lot. And especially like the language as well. If you're subscribing to one language and one grammar kind of thing, then the way you look at the world is really singular. It's really not diversified. And that's the reason why I stopped using Japanese, because a lot of concepts like self-deprecation in Japanese language is really hurting people's self-esteem and confidence, and it's gonna hurt their happiness as well. And so that's why Japanese is really not for business or like a daily use. It is only for like an artistic or filmmaking or anime, manga and whatnot. Anyways, so that's my opinion about benefits of traveling. Just wanted to let this out because I was talking about this topic with some of the friends who traveled a lot, and I tend to resonate a lot more with people who have traveled extensively because I can share a lot about these kind of subtle things. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Just came back from gym and I'm a little bit tired. With that said, I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye. Ciao.